Love isn't always simple, and passion often comes at a price. Welcome to Intrigue Romance, where secrets, betrayal, and forbidden desires collide. Tonight, we take you into a story you won't forget, where love is never what it seems. The house was eerily quiet that night, the kind of quiet that makes your skin crawl, like the calm before a storm. I was in the kitchen, sipping tea and scrolling through my phone, trying to shake off the unease that had settled over me. My husband, Jake, was out of town on a business trip, leaving me alone with my 22-year-old stepson, Ryan. Ryan had always been a mystery to me, quiet, reserved, and fiercely independent. We got along well enough, but there was always this invisible wall between us, a distance I could never quite bridge. Little did I know, that night would change everything. It started with a sound. A faint crackling noise coming from the basement. At first, I thought it was the washing machine acting up again, but something about it felt off. I set my cup down and followed the sound, my footsteps echoing softly down the stairs. The basement was dimly lit, the air thick with the scent of wax and smoke. And then I saw him. Ryan was sitting cross-legged on the floor, surrounded by a circle of candles. But it wasn't just the candles that caught my attention. It was the small, controlled fire he was playing with in his hands. He was holding a lighter, flicking it on and off, watching the flame dance as if it were a living thing. His expression was intense, almost hypnotized, and it sent a chill down my spine. "Ryan," I called out, my voice trembling slightly. He jumped, startled, and the lighter fell from his hands. The flame extinguished as it hit the floor, but the tension in the room remained. He looked up at me, his eyes wide with a mix of guilt and defiance. "What are you doing?" I asked, trying to keep my voice calm. He hesitated, then sighed. "I don't know. I like the way it feels. The fire, I mean. It's calming in a weird way." I knelt down beside him, careful not to disturb the candles. "Ryan, this isn't safe. You could hurt yourself, or worse." He looked away, his jaw tightening. "I know. I've been feeling so lost lately. Like I'm stuck in this endless loop, and I can't find my way out. The fire, it's the only thing that makes me feel in control." My heart ached for him. I had always known Ryan struggled with his emotions, but I had no idea it had gotten this bad. I reached out and placed a hand on his shoulder. "You don't have to go through this alone. I'm here for you, Ryan. We can figure this out together." He looked at me, his eyes searching mine for something, trust, maybe, or reassurance. After a long moment, he nodded. "Okay." That night, we talked for hours. Ryan opened up about his struggles with anxiety and depression, things he had kept bottled up for years. He told me about the pressure he felt to live up to his father's expectations, the weight of his own insecurities, and the constant battle he fought within himself. I listened, offering support and understanding where I could. By the time we went to bed, the candles were extinguished, and the lighter was safely tucked away in a drawer. In the weeks that followed, I made it my mission to help Ryan find healthier ways to cope with his emotions. We started going for walks together, and I encouraged him to take up journaling and meditation. It wasn't easy. There were setbacks and moments of doubt, but slowly, he began to find his footing. One evening, as we sat on the porch watching the sunset, Ryan turned to me and said, "Thank you, Emily, for everything. I don't know where I'd be without you." Tears welled up in my eyes as I smiled at him. "You're my family, Ryan. I'll always be here for you." Looking back, I realized that catching Ryan playing with fire was a turning point for both of us. It was a moment of vulnerability that brought us closer together, and it reminded me of the importance of being there for the people we love, even when it's hard. Ryan still has his struggles, but he's learning to navigate them, one step at a time. And I'm proud to say that I'm right there beside him, ready to help however I can. After all, that's what family is for. As the days turned into weeks, Ryan and I continued to work on building a stronger relationship. We started having regular check-ins, where we would sit down and talk about how he was feeling and what was going on in his life. These conversations were sometimes difficult, but they were also incredibly rewarding. I could see the progress Ryan was making, and it filled me with hope. One of the things that helped Ryan the most was finding a creative outlet. He had always been interested in art, so I encouraged him to start painting. At first, he was hesitant, unsure if he was any good. But as he began to pour his emotions onto the canvas, he found a sense of peace and fulfillment that he had been missing. His paintings were raw and emotional, and they gave me a glimpse into the inner workings of his mind. Another important step in Ryan's journey was seeking professional help. I suggested that he see a therapist, and after some initial resistance, he agreed. Therapy provided Ryan with the tools he needed to manage his anxiety and depression, and it gave him a safe space to explore his feelings without judgment. I was proud of him for taking that step, and I could see the positive impact it was having on his life. Throughout this process, I also learned a lot about myself. I realized that being a stepmom wasn't just about providing for Ryan's physical needs. It was about being there for him emotionally, too. It was about listening without judgment, offering support without smothering, and being a constant source of love and encouragement. I had to learn to let go of my own insecurities and fears, and to trust that I was doing the best I could for Ryan. There were moments when I doubted myself, when I wondered if I was doing enough or if I was making the right choices. But then I would see the progress Ryan was making, and I would be reminded of why I was doing this. It wasn't always easy, but it was worth it. One of the most rewarding moments came when Ryan told me that he felt like he was finally starting to find himself. He said that he had spent so much of his life feeling lost and disconnected, but now he was beginning to feel like he had a sense of purpose. He thanked me for being there for him, for not giving up on him even when things were tough. Hearing those words from Ryan meant the world to me. It was a reminder that even though being a stepmom came with its challenges, it also came with incredible rewards. Seeing Ryan grow and thrive was one of the most fulfilling experiences of my life, and I was grateful to be a part of his journey. As time went on, Ryan continued to make progress. He started to open up more, not just to me but to his friends and other family members as well. He began to take on new challenges, like volunteering at a local community center and even starting a small art business. It was amazing to see him come out of his shell and embrace life with a newfound sense of confidence and purpose. Looking back, I realized that catching Ryan playing with fire was a turning point for both of us. It was a moment of vulnerability that brought us closer together, and it reminded me of the importance of being there for the people we love, even when it's hard. Ryan still has his struggles, but he's learning to navigate them one step at a time. And I'm proud to say that I'm right there,